Today, we will talk about the Buddhism story in Japan and my experience of how I became a Buddhist monk. I'm native Japanese, and this kind of session, I'm doing first time this kind of things I do. So I'm a little nervous, but my wife will help.
Yes. So like Zenji-san said, I'm here to help some translations, but mostly I'm going to be conducting kind of an interview with Zenji-san. So I'll be asking him questions about many topics. In fact, today you can expect us to cover topics such as how Buddhism came to Japan, so a bit about the history of religion in Japan. We'll talk about some of the big principles and philosophy of Zen Buddhism, that are maybe some of the more important points that to build a common understanding, which greatly influenced Japanese culture and society. We'll of course talk about Zenju's story, how he became a monk, and his life journey up till now. And we'll finish with, of course, how the signs of Zen Buddhism throughout Japanese society. But to get us started at the very beginning, we would like to, I'm just going to change the screen here. We would like to invite you to observe a demonstration of some sutra chanting. So Zenju-san will be chanting this sutra called Enmei Juku Kannon Gyo, which is for the goddess of Kanzeon Bosatsu. And this God is the Bodhisattva of mercy and compassion. And we thought it would be a good demonstration, especially in light of the coronavirus global pandemic right now. So a good chance to pray to ease the suffering and ask for mercy and compassion for all those suffering around the world right now. Now, of course, this is a prayer, a Buddhist prayer. If you would like to join, feel free. If you have your own religious practice that you would like to pray in your own religion, that's great. Or if you're not religious, just feel free to observe or chant along if you like. It's completely up to you. We respect everyone has a different background and religious belief. So here is the phonetic pronunciation at the top, which is you'll be able to follow along, and then the English translation at the bottom. Okay. So. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, so we thought we should go back in time a little bit and look at some of the history of religion in Japan. And of course, you know, Shintoism goes way back. So can you tell us a little bit about Shinto religion in Japan?
Okay, Shintoism is a native religious of the Japanese before Buddhism came to Japan. That's our religious is only Shintoism, and Shintoism is worship. It's a nature. It's the example. It's a sun is God, moon is God, it's a universe is God, and on this earth it's a mountain is God, and river, ocean, all the nature is God. It's almost like a native religious around the world. It's kind of similar, the beliefs, like Native Americans, that they worship the other natures too. Yes.
And that's very similar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that, I guess, predates Buddhism. So can you tell us about when and how Buddhism came into Japan?
Yes, this is interesting story. That 1200 years ago, so that time is people was kind of suffering a lot in Japan. It's we are so poor country that time, and the Buddhism teaching that helped Japanese society at that time. And this is story that's Shinto how accept the Buddhism. That time it's Shintoism priest gathering together, and the one of the leader of the royal family called Shotoku Taishi, he's like a prince one of the prince of the royal family. And he really recommended, let's accept these teachings. It's maybe this really good for the Japanese kind of society, that situation. And they agreed, okay, let's try it. That's started how accept the Buddhism in Japan, introduced Japan to.
Wow. So two religions kind of came together and are coexisting together.
Yes.
Sounds
So,
unusual.
Unusual and unique culture too. Yeah, after that, we call Shinbutsu Kongo, and Shin is a Shinto god, and Butsu is Buddhism, and Shinbutsu Kongo, and we kind of worship, even we didn't separate the Shinto and Buddhism.
Oh, okay. So now let's go back a little bit further to the origins of actual Buddhism, because of course that doesn't come from Japan. Is that correct? Where does Buddhism come from, and what's the story of Buddha?
Okay, Buddhism is actually started in India, and from India to China, from not direction to spread the teach is from India, China, and Tibet, and all the way to the Japan, like that. And anyway, that's Buddha's story. Buddha was a human being as like a Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ is 2,000 years ago existed, and Buddha was existed 2,500 years ago. And yeah, he was born. He was born in not part of the India, in the castle. He was king's son, prince. So he grew up in a castle, really comfortable life he goes through. And he was wonder about the suffering of the humans, called Shorobyoshi. It's 4 sufferings. She means life. When you are born, you cry, and you will live in this world most for 100 years. It's really short time, 100 years. He knew that already, that 100 is so short. And what's purpose of the life? He wondered too. And did I Shorobyoshi? Okay. Low meaning is actually low meanings age. Everybody get older and older, and then when you get older, it's suffering, for physically suffering, and look suffering too. And then going too close to dying, that's a kind of suffering. And bio meaning sickness. It's everybody gets sick. When you get sick, you get really suffer. Maybe everybody experienced that. And she meaning death, and death is especially, we don't know what's happening after we die. It's so scary, and that's a suffering too.
So Buddha, well, before he was Buddha, he was Siddhartha. He was as a prince, and he realized this before he became Buddha. He was already asking these questions, and how did he find the answer to, the meaning of life?
So Siddhartha, he really wanted to know the question. This is answer. He had many questions, and he wanted answer of what's meaning of the life. Yeah. And then he escaped from the castle, and he started traveling to asking the many gurus. That time is a popular religious was Hinduism, and then he went many groups of teachers of the Hinduism, and then he started practicing the religious. He basically he practiced a lot of yoga and meditation under the Hindu practice.
Oh, okay. So his studies were Hinduism originally.
Originally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So how did he become Buddha?
Yeah. So anyway, that posture, when the meditation posture called Padma Asana, even this asana meaning is a kind of Hindu, the pose, one of the pose, meditation posture. Anyway, this famous story, under the many years he went through the study under the teachers, but he couldn't get the answer. So he was independent practice by himself. And famous story is under the Bodhi tree, he enlightened. After many, many days, he was sitting, and before the sunrise, he enlightened. That's a story how he enlightened.
So then he became Buddha when he was enlightened. Is that right?
Yes, enlightened.
Okay, so how did Buddhism, what happened there? How did Buddhism come along as a religion?
Okay, after he kind of realized, right, he enlightened. Only he know that enlightened feeling. So he taught many disciples, his disciples and his followers, students.
He taught them.
He taught them.
Oh, okay.
That's teaching of the Buddha and become the sutra. And the other disciples, they wrote it down about Buddha's teaching. That's now we call the sutras.
Okay, which is what, were you chanting? You were chanting a sutra at the beginning.
Yes.
Okay.
It's
okay.
all
which is
like
really
that.
just a teaching.
Maybe in the beginning was Sanskrit, and then they changed to the, that's kanji in the poem with China.
Right.
And then now came to Japan.
Yeah.
Even now went to the America too, North America, and they have English too.
Okay. So I guess like any religion, there are many sects that developed, right?
That's actually the Buddha taught many people, many different people, different situation, and even the different level of the student, and he taught different way. And that's separated the sect this now. So in Japan, it's a 5 main sect. But myself, I call non-sectarian Buddhism, because all the Buddha's teaching, so I shouldn't separate the teachings. Because if you separate teachings, people believe only that sect and stuff.
Okay. So you identify as non-sectarian.
Non-sectarian, but I practice Zen meditation mainly.
Okay. Can you give like an example of a difference between some of the sects? Like, what is a difference?
Like example, like a Shingon sect, originally come from the Tibetan Buddhism. It's they use mudras. Mudra is a posture of the when you chanting,
like a hand position.
And mantra. Mantra is sacred word, and conscious. And this called Sanmitsukaji. That's a technique of the how to enlightenment. So all the sect, even the other sect, is a purpose of the practice. Is purpose for the enlightenment.
Oh, to reach enlightenment.
To reach enlightenment.
Okay. So in Zen Buddhism, of course, it's a little different as well, but we'll talk a bit more about that in a few minutes. Okay. I see here that, after he died, of course, Buddhism traveled around. And then after Japan, it went south, right? To South Asia, different countries, like even Thailand and other countries as well.
That's called Hinayana Buddhism. And Hinayana Buddhism is a little different, more like a concentration for the enlightenment practice, really strict practice.
Okay, all right. So I thought, why don't we talk a little bit about some of those big important teachings in Buddhism. We all know the word karma. As a foreign, like as a Westerner, we use that word all the time, almost like in popular culture. We say, ooh, bad karma, but I don't think people really understand what it means. So what is karma, and tell us about that.
Yes, karma is three things, cause of three things you make the karma. The speak, act, think. Whatever you do, any of those things, you make karma. And whatever you do will come back to you. So if you speak to someone with the bad word, so coming back to you, and you're gonna upset maybe, and it will come back. Anything like you do, same things. Né? So if you do the bad things, if you steal and someone steal from you and stuff, and then think, well, most difficult stuff. But if you think really negative or badly, it's come back to you too. So have to kind of careful about what you think. That's why we kind of practice for positive practice too.
Wow. So what you think even matters. It comes back to you as well. So having positive thoughts.
Yes, and also this, especially act and maybe speak and stuff, is all like even Christian's teaching is very similar.
Yeah, it's so similar.
All religious is you have to do good speak, good act, good think, right?
Yeah. Be kind to your neighbor. It's very Christian as well.
So I kind of say negative things, but if you think positive, if you speak good, always good happening around the world. And then if you do the good act, always you are kind of happy.
Good things will come to you. Now, we included a picture of you with your pet chicken on your shoulder because, of course, you are vegan. I wonder if you can explain the connection between your vegan life and karma.
Yes, this act, the act, Buddha's teaching, there's no kill. So based on that philosophy, no kill. But at the same time, that's compassion too, compassion to the animals, and that's why we don't kill the animals. And yeah, if we buy from the supermarket, if we buy the meat, that's actually same things. You are killing the animals. So we concern that the Buddhist practice.
But I know some Buddhists who are not vegetarian. So how can it be that,
It's supposed to be, it's all Buddhism, even especially for the monks, must be the vegetarian.
Do you mean a long time ago?
It's called Shojin Ryori. Yeah, long time ago must be. Especially in Japan, it's a meat culture introduced just 100 years ago. Before 100 years ago, maybe people was eating some fish, but a lot of people was a vegetarian.
Really? Because when I think of Buddhism in other countries, or Hinduism, it's very vegetarian as well in India. So I guess over the centuries, things change. And now there's many sects of Buddhism, and I guess things change. So
change that up.
Yeah. Okay. So another important teaching, of course, is reincarnation. And I thought I knew about reincarnation until I met you, and then you really helped explain it. And I was hoping, can you explain to our audience?
Yes, called Rokudo Rinne in Buddhism. We call it's 6 reincarnations, and that's from the bottom is called Jigoku, Gaki, Chikusho, Shura, Ningen, Tenjo. It's depend on what you do in this life, you're going to next world. So if you do the really, really good act in this life, you maybe you can go to the next level, which is called heavenly world, Tenjokai. But if you do like some people, this human being, we have so many different levels too in this world. Some teachers says this in the human world has all these 6 world too. So we know that what is good, what is bad. Some people like kill the person. Differently next after
Next life?
Next life of this person going to be the jigoku is hell. It's going to be more suffering.
So you're telling me it's related to karma.
Mm-hmm.
So if you build good karma this life, you might be reincarnated as either human or go to a heavenly world.
Yes. Okay. What you can bring next life? Only three things: the karma, the what you speak, what you act, what you think. The only thing. You cannot bring anything else
to the next life.
Next life. It's of course all the material is a temporary thing. So even the rich people, you cannot bring money, of course, right? So only three things you can bring.
So what is instant karma then?
Instant karma is come back in this life instead of bring to the next life. So actually, this is good happening.
Yeah.
Because you don't have to bring to the next life. I'm talking about karma.
Okay.
Yeah. If you paid on this life, it's easier for next life.
Oh, so if your karma comes back to you immediately, like you do something bad and it comes back to you, something bad happens to you, you've paid your karma debt. Okay. Well, for the moment.
It's almost like a mathematics.
Like a math.
Yeah.
Okay, mathematics. Yeah. It's interesting. Moving up and down in these levels of rokudorin, is that how you say? Because even in Christianity we have a hell and a heaven. It seems kind of similar in that way, doesn't it? But not quite the 6 levels that Buddhism has. Okay. Another, of course, big concept in Buddhism is enlightenment. What is enlightenment?
Okay. Okay. Enlightenment meaning is totally no ego, become no ego. It's very simple, but most difficult because we always even thinking, always thinking based on I think, I want, I
like a selfish
thinking. So we call kill the ego. It's throw out your ego. That's enlightenment.
Okay, and then how do you achieve that? Like, how do you get rid of the ego?
That's a Buddha taught about all the Buddha or the teachings. Example like a Zazen meditation. We talk right now.
You can, so through meditation,
through the meditation,
reach enlightenment.
Yeah, when we do Zazen meditation, when we do the Zazen meditation, we try to do not think anything and just take a deep breath, abdominal breathing, and then always thought comes and not attached to this thought, think. Those kind of practice is a Zazen meditation, and that's practice of the no ego.
Okay. Well, I see on the slide here that to be enlightened is to reach nirvana. But when I go back to the 6 levels of reincarnation, nirvana is not in the reincarnation cycle. Why?
Yes, enlightenment meaning is out of this 6 reincarnation. You don't come back anywhere.
It's beyond
the reincarnations. Example like bodhisattva. Bodhisattva is also, this energy is practicing become Buddha, but still the bodhisattva is totally like no ego practice. Just help the people, those kind of compassion energy. Think about other. That's a bodhisattva practice.
You mentioned no ego. Is that the Shogyo Mujo? That's everything's temporary. something about no attachment. Do you want to explain the sampoing?
Oh, sampoing. Yes, this is technique, another technique
To reach.
to reach the enlightenment. It's a shogyo mujo. Shogyo mujo meaning is nothing is eternal. Nothing eternal. Meaning is meanings actually just everything's temporary. Your life is temporary too. So everything exists. You can see everything. It's everything is actually temporary. So realization of this kind of stuff is by the practice you can realize this. Oh, everything is temporary, and everything temporary meanings actually you not existed. That's called shoho muga. No ego. Muga is no ego. It's no existed you too. And after that, completely you have become nothingness, and that's become enlightenment called nehan jakujo. That's easy to explain by the word, but the realization is really hard.
Yeah, it sounds really hard to reach enlightenment. Okay, you mentioned Kanzeon Bosatsu, and actually the very first, at the beginning of our presentation, you were chanting a sutra to Kanzeon Bosatsu, who is also known as Kannon in Japan. And you said this Bosatsu is a bodhisattva. Can you explain a little more? What is a bodhisattva and who is Kanzeon Bosatsu?
There's many bodhisattvas, but the really common, really popular bodhisattva is Kanzeon Bosatsu. It's a Kannon sama, Japanese.
I see the Kannon everywhere in Japan.
Yeah, even South Asia, Thailand, Vietnam, those kind of area. Even China too used to be. That's a lot of Kannon sama.
Used to be.
Yeah, used to be. It's before become communist. Anyway, this Bosatsu is a practice of actually this energy has no ego. Example, the Kanzen Bosa is a commitment to the stay in this world until sentient being become Buddha.
So Kanzeon Bosatsu is not a Buddha.
Kanzeon Bosatsu is before the Buddha.
Just before Nirvana. Just before.
So he or she, the commitment, right? That's everybody going to the enlightenment. Finally, everybody going to enlightenment, right? So he or she wait until everybody enlightenment.
And it's out of compassion and mercy.
Yes.
For all beings, sentient beings, not just humans, but all sentient beings.
Yeah, but Kanzeon Bosatsu actually existed everywhere in this world. Like maybe you have experienced people so kind to you. That's maybe this person was Kanzeon Bosatsu for you.
Oh.
So, and this everything like Buddhism or some religious people, some material to worship, but I believe this is just energy. Because if you worshiping the material, it doesn't make sense.
That's more the energy.
More energy.
Well, that makes me think of course, the Dalai Lama. You said that Kanzeon Bosatsu is an energy, and is he a living Kanzeon Bosatsu?
Yes, he is Kanzeon Bosatsu.
Really?
That's why people worship him too.
But he's not a god.
Not God.
Not a god.
Yeah, that's he reincarnate. Always he come back to human being. Maybe somebody know about this story. So before he died, he tells to the disciples, next time I will born in this village.
Really?
Please look for me.
He knows what village is.
So he's
coming back.
Cool. And then the history he's doing 14 times now, coming back.
So his commitment is to stay in this universe until all sentient beings become Buddha. So again, it's through compassion and mercy.
Yes, that much he has a compassion.
Are there other lamas or bodhisattvas on the earth right now, or
actually we have those kind of like a holy person doesn't exist in Japan, but maybe some people does it. Some like saint in Japanese Buddhist saint or some religious saint, they will do it.
Like Mother Teresa. Would she have been a bodhisattva?
She's. I feel she's very. She has strong mercy and compassion, right? Her whole life, the story of the Mother Teresa. I believe that she is a bodhisattva.
She committed her whole life to ease the suffering of the poor. And how about in like India? Are there lots of other bodhisattvas too in India?
I think so, but that's like a Tibetan style of the coming back life in life. It's a Rinpoche, another like a style of the Dalai Lama. Okay. They keep coming back in this planet.
Okay. Okay, so now let's get to Zen Buddhism, which is, of course, your practice that you have been studying for a long time, and a bit about the philosophy. Can you tell us what is like some of the key concepts that makes Zen Buddhism different than other Buddhisms?
Yeah, Zen Buddhism is purpose of Zen Buddhism is same. That's all reach enlightenment. Yeah. But at the same time, there's no purpose, because if you wanted the enlightenment, meaning I want, that has a desire too, right? So we never say I don't. I'm practicing for the enlightenment.
I guess that would sound strange, wouldn't it?
We concentrate. We just sit. And while meditation.
That's Zazen?
Yes, Zazen meditation. It's no purpose, actually. Practice of the no purpose. We just sit. Anyway, this is 100% practice of the no ego practice. No, you don't attach anything.
It sounds hard. You have to clear your mind of all the thoughts, and we're constantly thinking.
Yes, that's why we do the like practice in a monastery, and then everybody practice together. That kind of helps each other too. We call Sangha. It's one of the, we call treasure. It's a Buddha. One is a Buddha, and two is a Dharma. It's a Buddha's teaching. Another one is called Sangha. It's a community. Buddha and the practitioners community called Sangha.
Okay. Is there anything else that's different about Zen Buddhism to other Buddhisms? I mean, it seems like a life practice, really, because I assume you're trying to clear your mind of thoughts all the time, right? Not just during Zazen. Is it all the time?
Actually, whole day is a meditation as a Buddhist monk.
Wow.
Whole day is meditation. Whatever you do, the concentrate whatever you do. So called mindfulness practice. So when you're doing, you don't think anything. Just concentrate whatever you do. This kind of practice.
Like concentrate on the one thing, whether it's breathing or something else. Okay. And how is that related to karma? I mean, you're talking a lot about karma. Is that building karma?
Actually, if you can be oneness, whatever you do, it's no. You don't make any karma. Only this moment, that moment, you don't make karma.
You make no karma.
No karma.
No good, no bad.
No bad.
Okay. So why don't we go back and you tell us about your personal story to how you became a monk, and what inspired you to take this life?
Okay, I grew up in Japan, in Tokyo. It's in an ordinary family. I was eating like meat everything I was eating sushi. Anyway, when I was teenager, I start kind of wondering what's meaning of the life, because I was a little bit suffering of the life already, teenager. Especially after the school, everybody going to they find something to do, like study, especially going to the university to study, or my friend going to the work, find a work and become salaryman.
Oh yeah, salaryman. It's a very common thing in Japan.
Mm-hmm. And I couldn't make decision, and my teacher in the school teacher, like my parents, everybody kind of push. You have to choose. I couldn't choose, like a teenager, 18 years old. So I kind of escaped from this situation. So I went to the traveling, and that's my journey started. And then that time I visit America first. And that time is almost 40 years ago. We call American Dream. Anyway, I wanted to see the different countries, but still I'm looking for what I'm going to be looking for in deep inside. And then somehow I met my teacher that time in America, and he told me first time I heard really teaching of the Buddhism, and I'm so interested and kind of opens up. First time I heard about religious story, and after that I kind of study many religions. Even I went to the Christian church in Japan, and even I went to the India to study Hinduism. What's Hinduism? Or I wanted to study all the religions actually.
So when you were young, you had no monks in your family? Like you didn't know anything about Buddhism in your family?
No, common things in Japan, everybody has a house altar.
Oh, kind of like your
yeah,
not
this is temple.
This is temple.
Altar, and they kind of pray every morning. So I was seeing my parents was doing every morning the incense and then praying for the ancestors, basic ancestors.
But they didn't really teach you anything about Buddhism.
No, really. Even at school, maybe basic story everybody maybe study, but not really seriously. We didn't study. We didn't learn.
So after you did a bit of research of all these religions in India and America, you eventually moved back to Los Angeles, right?
Yes. Actually, my teacher, Reverend Ryugin Watanabe, my teacher, he invited me actually he liked to start up the Zen temple in Los Angeles. So I went, and then after maybe a few months later, I did ordained, and then I became Buddhist monk.
So you were ordained pretty early after starting the temple with your teacher?
Yes, it's a daily practice. I was really into meditation and then talk every day, learning about Buddhism teaching, Zen teaching every day, and really become serious. That's it.
And actually, Zen Ryu is your ordained name.
Yes.
That's not your given birth name. That's your ordained name. Yeah. Okay. So what was your daily practice? You said you did meditation.
Yes, every day from maybe 5 o'clock, sit meditation and chanting. And after that, we do the yoga practice. Actually, my teacher teaches yoga too that time. Yoga is really good for the beginner practice because sitting meditation is quite difficult. It's a sitting posture, Padmasana, cross-leg position, long time. We sit 1 hour daily. 1 hour same posture, difficult. So yoga helps a lot.
But how is yoga related to Buddhism?
That's explained the Buddha practice yoga.
Buddha practiced yoga.
Uh-huh.
All right, because he practiced Hinduism, and there's meditation is
Yes.
a yoga position. Is that correct? Okay, right. Okay. Anything else for your daily practice?
Yeah, and also the chanting, long time chanting, 1 hour chanting, we kind of pray every day for the Kanzen Bodhisattva. Yeah, so that's why I'm still kind of praying for the Kanzen Bodhisattva energy.
Okay. Now, tell us about your roles that you had at the temple when you were there.
I was also title called Tenzo. Tenzo is a person who cook at the temple. And people, I don't know, the people think this cook is like sometimes servants they do, right? No.
Servants?
Servants sometimes.
Yes, yeah.
But in the Zen temple, it's a very important position.
Oh, I see. So like almost like a ranking, a higher rank?
Yeah, no, we don't call it ranking in the temple, but important work.
How?
Especially the Dogen Zenji is one of the founder of the Soto sect, and in my life, it's the most respected priest person, and he wrote called Tenzo Kyogun. It's a book about how important cook is. And he traveled China, studied Buddhism. He met an old man buying the mushrooms, and he asked him, why you're buying the mushroom for cooking when you should be teaching, right? And that old man told him, you don't know anything about Buddhism. Anyway, he wrote his experience in China, and then he realized that's really important. The cook is really important. It's effect to the influence to the other people kind of practice too. And then these are three things called Kishin, Roshin, Daishin, the three mind, important mind. And Kishin is happy mind. It's when you cook, because when you cook, all the energy towards to the food, and then not you, other people, especially in the monastery, the practitioners eat this food, so affect the mind. And Roshin is a wisdom mind. It's when this mind is when you mother cook the children's.
Cooks food for the children.
Yeah. The care and think about nutrition and health. So have a thoughtful, caring mind. Mostly this is caring mind when you cook. Okay. And Daishin is a great mind. It's I would say this great mind is no waste food. It's very important. Still, this world too, so many food is wasted. And Daishin is most important. No waste food. Even though we use the end of the carrot, even though we use a leaf of a carrot.
Oh, the greens.
Yeah,
most and people throw them out.
Yeah. Maybe we talk later about, but we are farmer now, and then we care a lot about no waste vegetables and stuff too. That's related.
So it sounds to me like with this Koshin, Roshin, Daishin, again, it sounds like even cooking is like meditation. It's really concentrating on one thing only in that moment.
Yes. Yeah, it's completely no ego practice.
So it's definitely a Zen practice as well. Interesting. Okay. And how about some of your other ongoing practices that you do now as a practitioner in your new life or in your life now?
Yes, I still practice worship every day and some stretch, yoga practice by myself. but sometimes as a picture, I do that. Like this is picture of the Mongolia. We opens up the new temple, Zen temple, and teacher and all the disciples get together and opens up the temple.
So you still do kind of missionary work a little
Missionary
bit.
work,
Like
yes.
in this case, you went to all the way to Mongolia to
Mhm.
help open a new temple.
Yes,
And in the other picture, are you teaching?
yes, we do the vegan cooking class.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was doing in Los Angeles too, in the monastery. I lived in 20 years in the monastery. And that time is it's constantly I was doing the series of the vegan cooking classes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I bet in Los Angeles that was popular.
Mhm.
And then what else do you do?
Yes, I do the memorial ceremonies for my friend and then my families. I play chant and to the spirit.
Okay.
For especially for the funeral people passed away.
Yeah, memorials.
Yeah, memorials.
Following years.
Yes, this picture is my dad when he passed away. Yeah, we did together, right? The play.
Yeah.
Yes.
Even like today, you chanted for our COVID-19, the world situation, and so you're also doing daily, I guess, praying for peace and praying for compassion.
Praying peace, compassion
every day.
for the all sentient being. Mm-hmm.
And tell us about your yoga practice.
Yes, this picture is a children's yoga. Sometimes, my wife is an international school teacher, and I visit and I teach yoga to the children. And also, I do the community yoga in this area. People come here and, I was doing the daily, not daily, that's community yoga once in a week. But this situation, I'm kind of stopping.
Because of coronavirus.
Coronavirus, yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But why is yoga so important to your daily practice?
It's a yoga, actually yoga also purpose for the enlightenment, but I'm more like concerned for the health reason. Yeah, it's another teacher, health kind of high conscious teacher. I have Kanjitsu Iijima sensei. He was kind of teaching about how you maintain the health. That only two things. It's a blood quality, blood circulation. So if you have a really good blood circulation in your body and blood quality, it's you never get sick. Actually, it's protected from the disease. So yoga makes really good blood circulation, and also we take when we do yoga, take abdominal breathing. Is get really strong oxygen. At the same time, we call it prana. Prana is a key energy. We take that to your body, and that makes good blood quality too. And also, we vegan diet, health kind of conscious diet helps. Whatever you eat, you become blood.
Right. We have an expression in English, you are what you eat. Do you have a similar one in Japanese? No? Yeah. Okay. And of course, now you're married to me and we're farming together. We have an organic farm up in the hills of Kyoto. But how does organic farming and your Zen Buddhist practice, how are they connected?
Actually, that's first of all, as a Buddhist monk, and Buddha maybe said, it's monks, practitioners are better not married.
But it's okay to get married?
Yeah, he said don't. He said better not, because if you if you marry, it's become more difficult practice because you have a strong attachment towards to the lover, right? Person who you love. Like an example, like your family or family too.
Of course.
That's a mother, father. When you separation, someday you have to separate. That's kind of suffering too. So easier is better not to have a family. But other hand, as a human being, we have a karma to have a family. Yeah, it's this is actually is a same practice. I feel same practice, that no ego practice.
It's true. You have to think about the other person.
Other person
Always.
Always.
That's true.
To have the child to children's also. Yeah. To listen your children's is more priority. So you have it's a practice of the no ego.
No ego. And what about farming?
Yeah, farming is somehow I'm doing farming now, but farming and meditation, I mean the Zen practice is really connected. It's a practice. Is a mindfulness. Also, it's a farming. Is a you grow the vegetable, and oneness become vegetables, and that kind of feeling too. And yeah, especially with organic farming, we have to know many knowledge about how to grow without chemical, without pesticides and stuff. I feel this is also. It's a no ego practice.
Okay. You often say to me that you didn't choose this life. You didn't choose to get married. And what do you mean by that? It's not your choice.
Yeah. Everyone thinks you choose your life, but actually everyone around your situation influence your life. Meaning is around you is make decision of your life. And actually my the Zen practice as a monk we call unsui. Un means cloud and water, sui means water, and clouds is moves by the wind, and water runs like a river. So my lifestyle is like that.
So you move like the clouds and the river. It takes you where it wants to take you.
So yeah, whatever happens is happens, and that's some people, is not accepted against that, and that's more difficult life, I feel. So just take the energy, put the energy. I just follow that energy.
Follow the energy. And this is also a Zen philosophy, a Zen practice?
Yeah, this is supposed to be Zen Buddhist monk is supposed to be like that. And also I play Kanzen Bosa, and Kanzen Bosa always kind of leads me where what's for the future, what's happening and stuff. And this, if you have a strong belief of that, it's fine. It's whatever happens, it happens. And that's also this practice of no ego. Okay.
I guess we talked already a little bit about the farming and how you said, the concentrating on just what's happening on the farm. And then I kind of feel like it's like a meditation as well, isn't it? Really concentrating on what you're doing.
Yes.
And I think anyone who's worked in a garden, they often say, oh, it's like meditation. It's so peaceful. It's relaxing. And maybe everyone feels a little bit of that when they're in the garden, don't they?
Yes. Actually, this organic farming is a life practice. We learn many things. But we're doing independent farming like this is 10 years now.
Yeah, 10
years. And I'm learning every day, especially the vegetables, I'm not growing the vegetables. We just support the vegetable. This kind of feeling is much stronger now. It's we just support the vegetable. They grow, right? And we support. And that's also yoga, no ego practice.
It's true. I mean, you plant a seed and everything the plant needs is right there in the seed, right, to get it started. So we're just supporting those plants to grow.
Anyway, that's farming. I was kind of farming whole my life, actually. Even when I was in the monastic life, yeah, we are growing the vegetable organically. And we really thinking about the environment too. Meaning it's no pesticides, no the chemicals, right? So that's also kind of related about no ego practice too.
And caring for the
environment. Caring and the environment. Yeah, we more think about environment than the vegetable, actually.
Okay.
Shouldn't be too greedy and stuff too, right?
Okay. Well, let's finish up here with a little bit about, we've talked quite a bit already actually about how Zen Buddhism has been in Japanese society, and we've made some connections, but there's a few really good examples here of how Zen Buddhism has influenced Japanese culture. As a foreigner, when I first came here, I noticed it was so clean and so organized. Is that Zen Buddhism influence?
I think so, very much.
Yeah?
Yes. First of all, in the Zen monastic practice, is after the meditation, daily life, we do a lot of cleaning. Even it's clean floor, we still clean. That's a Zen practice too. And this you cleaning meanings clean your mind, yourself too. So also organize things, same things. If you organize around you, you organize your mind too. Opposite, if your messy room is all disorganized, your thinking is kind of messed up too.
I just realized, I know that children clean the school as well, right? They do own cleaning. And also I see salarymen in the business offices, everyone cleans every morning, right? Like sweeping and cleaning. So I'm just wondering, that might be connected as well to Zen Buddhism. And what about the community? I see there's a community cleaning picture here.
Yeah, community cleaning is, we care each other, like our neighbors. So we have all the communities, even the countryside. We have all the communities. We clean together around that neighborhood.
Yeah. So it's also being mindful.
This is I feel really related about Buddhism teaching too. That's kind of concern to other.
Now you have mentioned because you're a chef, so you have mentioned this, but I think that concept of being a masterful practitioner can go into other areas of mastery as well. For example, artists, craftsmen, woodworkers, even sushi chefs. Do you think that that's all connected to Zen Buddhism as well?
Yeah, especially all the master things is based on Zen philosophy. It's mindfulness. When you make something, you oneness with something, and then this art is come perfectly because no ego. It's mindfulness meaning no ego. So it's always become good quality or perfect kind of art is come up.
Like sushi chefs, I heard that it takes years to become a sushi chef.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the training is a related practice too. Yeah, we do a lot of training, whatever you try to become professional.
Even like with the tea ceremony here, I was reading about how Zen philosophy permeates the tea ceremony
Yes.
as well, with the serenity, the mindfulness, concentrating on one thing, and it's simple and it's beautiful and masterful.
Yes, tea ceremonies, especially for the related about Zen.
Oh, well, I think there's probably a lot of other examples, but I can see we're just about out of time.
Yeah, just Japanese, culture. It's totally.
It's everywhere.
Yeah. Especially when like a foreigner comes, everybody is kind of tells me too about how clean in Japan and how organized. Yeah, even the restaurants, if we go, it's everything straight and stuff. Yeah. Everything straight is a key of the Zen philosophy.
So, like, as you could see in this presentation, Buddhism has a long history in Japanese society. So we looked at, of course, the birth of Buddhism in India, and then how it came to Japan, how it developed, how the sects were created, and a bit about Zen Buddhism. Of course, we looked at Zendi's life story a little bit, and a little bit about how Zen Buddhism influences Japanese society. But I have to say, it seems to me that Zen Buddhism, I mean, this is my perspective, it seems like it's a way of life. It's a practice, a daily practice, kind of even beyond a religion. Like it seems to me like a practice.
Yes, it's a life practice.
A life practice. It's a really interesting thing to kind of realize.
Yeah, we are not practice for enlightenment. No, this is a daily life is practice.
So so if you, I guess, you just, it can be adopted in a variety of ways. You don't have to necessarily be religious, I guess, to try some of the Zen practices and philosophies. But okay, so at this point, do you want to finish by saying anything, or?
I'm okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much for listening to our presentation. At this point, there's lots of time for questions. I think I'm going to try and open up the question. I haven't looked at any of the questions yet, so just give me a moment. Kambara Sensei, do you want to? Should I stop presenting? I suppose, huh? I think I'll stop presenting first.
Okay, thank you very much for your interesting presentation. Now it's a question and answer time. Attendees, if you have a question, please feel free to ask him. You can ask from the chat box, or you can unmute your microphone.
So I have a question about letting go of your thoughts. You spoke about Zen meditation being very related to tea ceremony and other practices. And then I was thinking of the meditation itself. My daughter used to practice tea ceremony when we lived in Okinawa. It could be really hot. And she was a teenager at the time. She would kind of complain to her teacher. And her teacher actually reminded me of a Zen Buddhist monk in the way that she spoke. And she would just basically say, don't think about it. You have to put it out of your mind. And then I had a former colleague in Kyoto who studied Buddhism, and he spoke about the times when he used to be at a monastery in Kyoto, and it can be really cold in Kyoto. And I don't think he was wearing heavy robes or anything like that. So I know that he had to meditate in the really biting cold in Kyoto. How do you overcome these things, the extreme heat or the extreme cold or any of these other physical things? How do you just not think about it? Is there a strategy? And then
Okay, that's even practice of meditation is even attached those kind of suffering too. So especially in Fukui, called headquarters of the Soto main temple in Fukui, called Eiheiji, is one of the famous strict practice of the Zen monastery in Japan. And even really like a -10 degrees, we have to sit. And then temple, we don't have the heater and stuff. And we need a lot of patience too. So even like you practice with no attachment of this physical suffering.
How? How do you do that?
Just patient.
A lot of practice, I guess.
Yes, it's hard practice, but it's that's why it's the Zen kind of practice. You have to learn those kind of beyond the suffering kind of feeling.
Beyond the suffering.
Beyond the suffering.
I don't know if that answers your question, Judy. But
thank you. Yes, I need more practice.
So meaning you must like have to have strong mind too, right? Then control your mind and stuff too after the many years practice.
So I can relate a bit to that question because I've been trying to meditate and I find it really hard to control my thoughts. Like I'm always wandering and not concentrating on like the breathing and in this, like just the breathing. So I'm guessing that it would be same. Instead of concentrating on the cold, you have to concentrate on just the breathing, on the on something else other than the cold.
So you have to go through those kind of really hard practice, and I feel you can realize and stuff too. And we call it intense meditation. We call session. Is we sit like 12 hours a day.
Really?
And then like sit 7 days, called low heart session. But in the monastery, we do that like maybe 3 or 4 times a year. And we do this 3 days sitting. And then we like wake up 4 o'clock and start meditation from 5 o'clock and sit all day and until we sleep. Of course, I don't feel anything in my leg.
Your legs would fall asleep, right? Yeah.
And then it's so painful. Sometimes I can, I won't really move and stuff, but all about kill the ego practice. Like a supreme hard practice, like a hardcore practice, but we do those kind of practice too.
Wow. I guess that's totally related to what she's saying. Like it's removing all of the other physical and distractions.
Yes.
And just concentrating on the breathing, on the
But
meditation.
after I go through, somehow it's kind of opens up, and then that's an experience. Is this kind of experience never I can experience by the word. Yeah. But almost like a natural high, like a runner's high. It's a kind of, I feel similar. Like
the endorphins that you experience when you're running. You get really when you meditate for that long.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Does that answer your question, Judy?
Yes, and it's good to have that relationship with the kind of runner's high. I have a love-hate relationship with running, but when I'm working myself up to being able to do it, first it seems so hard and I hate it. But then after I go for a few days, it gets easier. You have to go through the hard patches though to get to the easier part. So maybe it is related.
Was your daughter getting better and better at doing the tea ceremony in the extreme heat of Okinawa?
Yes, I guess she was.
It's a really good example of like the concentration and practice that you need to kind of separate the physical from the mental, right? It's really a separation, sounds like.
Yeah, I explained by the session. Yeah, whatever you do become like a mindfulness. Doing whatever you do, it's a oneness with what you do. It's exactly like an artist, musician too, I feel. You know, they, like an example, musicians, they play, even they painful the like a hand when you play the guitar, but still playing, and then become nothing, actually, become oneness.
Oneness
Oneness.
with the instrument.
Yeah, you don't, maybe those kind of great musicians or great artists, they don't feel they are doing the like no ego, become no ego.
Maybe they don't feel the pain in their fingers.
Become no ego.
You know, I can think of an example. I took ballet for years, and professional ballerinas, their toes are bloody sometimes at the end, but they didn't feel it during the performance because they are masterful practitioners. They don't feel it until after when they're done. Yeah, so interesting.
I have to go through those kind of suffering to become master.
Are there any other questions from the people who joined us? Feel free to type a question or just open your microphone and speak.
I have a question. What's your future plan? Are you gonna keep staying in Japan or going abroad?
Yes, from last year, we are planning to move to Canada, Eva's family country. But it's because of COVID-19, we still kind of waiting situation. And like last year, yeah, we are totally planning. So we kind of start quitting the farming, but we have to kind of stay, that we have to make a decision, okay, this year we have to stay. So that time I felt, oh, we kind of shouldn't think about future too much. Just we have to kind of do it best you can do in this moment. I kind of feeling that kind of strong feeling, even now too. So we don't know what's going to happen in this year. So
I see.
This moment, we try best we can do. Yeah, we do best we can do.
Well, we are hoping to move to Canada this summer instead of last summer. So, but it really depends on the corona situation, if there's vaccines and if we're able to move. But like Zenji said, we're not planning too much. We have to live in like the moment, be here now. So we're still growing things. I've started seeds for some summer vegetables just in case we stay. And even if we don't stay, we can just sell our seedlings to other farmers. But basically, we're kind of living like our normal farm life until we have to go, basically, until the opportunity is there to go. And then when we move to Canada, we will continue organic farming. We already have plans for a space and to continue farming. I will probably start teaching eventually again. And Zenju will very probably build a new temple, another space to do yoga, meditation, and to still practice his Zen Buddhism, and maybe offer workshops to the public if Corona is safer.
So that's a planning, but just planning, right? And then I forgot about explaining about life, human being life. That was Kambara-san said that was a really good question. Actually, that's the past is not existed, and future is not existed. So what is existed is only this moment. So in the Zen practice, we live moment to moment. So, we, of course, we have a plan, but yeah, my life is live moment to moment.
And that has greatly influenced my life now too, that philosophy, which is good for me because I'm a planner and I think I plan too much sometimes. So better just be here now, live in this moment and enjoy and make the best of what we have right now.
Yes, be here now is a very important word for the life.
There's a great book called Be Here Now, isn't it called that?
Yes, yes, too.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Are there any other questions from our participants?
If not, we should close this session. I'd like to express my sincere appreciation for Zenryu Sensei and Eva-san and all attendees. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kambara Sensei, for having us on your series. This is really enjoyable to prepare.
My pleasure. I'd like to have you, in our webinar once more again in future. So please keep in touch.
Okay, we will.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Good night, everyone.
Nice
Have
to
a
meet
nice
you.
evening.
Thank you for participating.